I like this right here.
Hey, Sean. I want to talk to you, man.
Come on.
I'm trying to understand what went on in that mind of yours. Shit. We need to find a cure. Cause you wrong.
Bad boy.
Damn, Diddy, you did bad. Hey, Sean, why you hit that girl like that? No excuses for the abusive behavior you had. Sit in the cell and think about being a dad. Cause you did bad. Them kids done lost their mother. I'll be sure to help them discover what went on in Daddy's house.
Because of Diddy.
Punch your mom dead in the mouth. Yeah, why you do that, boy? You're wrong. Had them boys up all night long, drinking, drugging, sucking and fucking, huffing, puffing. Damn, Diddy, you did bad. Hey, Sean, why you hit that girl like that? No excuses for the abusive behavior you had. Sit in the cell and think about being a dad. Cause you did.
Ready, fight.
I'm excited to be here. The idea of making a donation to these organizations came along with me producing the documentary for Netflix.
Diddy's lawyers also slammed Netflix for bringing on 50 Cent, Diddy's longtime rival, as an executive producer, alleging he has publicly attacked Diddy for decades.
If I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip-hop is fine with his behaviors. There's no one else being vocal. You'll see a lot of energy that's coming from the same documentary. The celebrity culture didn't say anything about those things that were going on for a very long time. And it's because they're afraid of people who have success. But I have success without any of those things involved. You know, so I have, I don't care. You know, and I'll look and you'll see, like, I'll have minor specks or disputes that you'll see verbally. Those things will happen because those people were comfortable with things that were going on, or they accepted it. Wow. You know, and there's a lot of, I don't want to go too far into the negative side of things, but there's a lot of people that are finding their way through others, like they're following people, you know what I mean? And they've been in the league for a long time, so they let them get away with a lot. You know, and I'm excited to be a part of a community and participate in a different way. And Tabitha was the right person to make the connection completely. And my prestigious attorney. Ron directed me to the right path to make the difference the right way. And I'm like, my grandfather, he said, say less and do more, boy. He said, you know, I gotta, you know, I like to speak through my actions. You know, so y'all know what time it is.
I see it. Do you see it too? Because this looks like a rebrand. Yeah, it really feels like a rebrand is happening right in front of us. Diddy is supposedly on his way home. We've seen Caresha come out. Yeah, Young Miami. We saw her pull up on Charlemagne. And now we're seeing Usher speak on P. Diddy in a positive way. So is this a rebrand? Are these people trying to clean up that ugly situation? 50 Cent is not backing off because he goes at Usher after that interview. Let's talk about it. If you're new to the channel or you've been here, smash that like button, subscribe, and make sure your bell is on so you know when I drop a video. This one is fresh off the press because we can see what's happening. He may be on the way back, and now old friends and people close to him are coming out and speaking. That alone has people raising eyebrows. Then you've got Karacia, Young Miami, speaking on Diddy in a positive way. Now we've also got Usher stepping out, and that stands out because he had not said much before. Keep this in mind. For years, people have repeated stories and rumors about what Usher may have gone through when he was younger. I'm just saying, for some people, this is starting to look disturbing because it makes you wonder how deep that influence really went. You feel me? Diddy had influence over a lot of these guys. The Justin Bieber types, yeah, it is what it is. He was around them early, so I don't expect many of them to come out and talk bad about Diddy. I'm just being real with it. But I gotta show you this, because Usher is basically saying he has nothing negative to say about Diddy. You hear me? And then you got that picture floating around with Justin Bieber grabbing Usher. I don't even know if that's real. Could be AI, could be fake, could be something else entirely. The world right now feels different, like nothing is 100% real anymore. Everything looks edited, everything feels manufactured, and it makes it harder to know what's actually true. At the end of the day, we've only heard rumors. Justin Bieber has never come out and spoken on Diddy like that, never. Usher hasn't come out talking crazy either. So now let me play this interview so you can hear it yourself and really understand where Usher is coming from. Pay close attention. So he's basically saying we should focus on the contributions, not the wrongs. That's what he's pushing. But look, Usher kind of puts himself in a tight spot here. I gotta call it what it is. He's standing firm, 10 toes down, showing loyalty to Diddy no matter what people say. Even if people come at him heavy, he's still riding with it. No hesitation. And that's where it gets tricky, because for years, people have talked and speculated about what really went on behind the scenes with Usher and Diddy. So when Usher comes out like this, defending and standing strong, it puts all eyes right back on him. He's not backing down at all. Now he's saying Diddy taught him the business, how to move, how to win. And that's something a lot of artists respect. People don't just see Diddy as one thing, they also see him as a major entrepreneur, a guy who built serious money and influence. That image is still strong, no matter what conversations are happening around him. And when you look at everything being discussed publicly, people point out that what's been shown involves adults making their own choices. That's what's out there right now. So this whole situation stays complicated, and that's why you really gotta pay attention to every angle. So look, at the end of the day, let's be real. What Usher is saying sounds like this.
I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen. I mean, this might be a bit controversial, but in the same way, I think many people choose to look past the reality of what our country is, the standards that we now stand on. We can't ignore the reality of the history, but in many ways, I think certain people are prosecuted and maybe not recognized for the greatness, that they offer. I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen and how he's been, misrepresented. I'm not saying that every man is perfect. I'm not saying that all of us don't have flaws, but I can't, with any sense of humanity, not recognize the valuable contributions that this man made.
Regardless of that Cassie video, and regardless of all the rumors people keep talking about, he's choosing to focus only on what Diddy taught him. That's the message. He's basically separating the lessons from everything else that's being said out here. And yeah, people have been bringing up all kinds of stories for years, even mentioning names like Justin Bieber in these conversations. There's a lot going on, a lot of noise, a lot of speculation. But Usher is standing firm, saying none of that changes what he learned from Diddy as a businessman. That's a strong stance, no matter how you look at it. But I'm not even gonna lie, that kind of thinking gives certain vibes.
For us as Black entrepreneurs, for us as businessmen, for us as people who transition, culture and ideas into something that's tangible and becomes business, so many people benefited from what he created. And I acknowledge that. And that's why I see him as legacy.
You told Shannon Sharp you learned a lot about business during that era.
Absolutely.
What'd you learn?
Puff was a mentor, but he was like you have that really, really hard teacher, but you're watching something in real time. I think that the idea of the level of discipline that came with that time in business, especially in an era that was trying to prove itself culturally in hip hop. Now, you can't turn on the television and not see the influence of hip hop.
That's right.
But the people who actually made that appropriate and are the forefathers are people like Sean Combs.
It really makes you pause and think deeper about the situation, because when someone ignores everything else and only highlights the positive, it raises questions for real. And remember, this is just my opinion. We've never really seen Justin Bieber or Usher come out and speak negatively about Diddy. Not like that. But then you got 50 Cent on the other side, going full force, making moves, pushing narratives, and clearly trying to expose everything from his angle. Two completely different energies colliding. And when you look at the comments online, people are heated, saying all kinds of wild things about how situations should have been handled. That just shows how divided this whole situation really is, and why everybody is watching closely. People saying he didn't do enough, and they keep bringing up that famous picture going around, but I don't even know if that's real.
And not just in the great times that they had musically, but in the idea of being able to find ways to monetize culture. And create something that was not just black or white. It was colorless. It was green. That's who I see that man as. And that's what I choose to remember. I put respect on his name because I realized that, what I learned as a businessman, before I even understood what business was, came as a result of seeing the incredible things that he was able to do and the way that he positioned himself as a businessman.
In today's world, anything can be edited, anything can be flipped. Still, folks are saying you can praise someone's success without ignoring the darker conversations around them. That's the debate right now, and it's getting loud. Now me, I'm gonna keep it honest. I'm not about to fake it. There were a lot of claims made about Diddy over the years, but when things were being discussed publicly, people pointed out situations involving adults making their own choices. That's what's been presented. So yeah, some people feel like there's been a certain narrative built up around him, while others say everything is exactly how it looks. That divide is real. And then you got 50 Cent stepping in, putting together content, showing interviews, and bringing more voices into the spotlight. If you've been paying attention, you've seen people speaking now who stayed quiet before. That's what's making this situation even louder right now.
The trials and tribulations that come with the pressures of success and power. But what we choose to do with it is what I hope that you see with me and hopefully other people that I'm involved with, right?
Meanwhile, Usher is catching heat heavy. People are saying once social media really locks in, it's going to get crazy for him. And it's not just him, because Young Miami came out with a similar energy, and now folks online are calling this a full rebrand attempt. They're saying this is about protecting an image, protecting a legacy, and maybe even positioning for future moves. Some people even going as far as saying this silence and support is strategic, like it's all lining up for when things shift again. That's how wild the conversation is getting. But one thing is clear, a lot of these artists came up around Diddy, learned from him, and that influence still shows today, whether people like it or not. Now people online are going wild with their opinions. They're throwing out all kinds of claims and accusations, saying that's why Usher is moving the way he's moving. They pointing to clips, documentaries, all that. And yeah, we gotta remember, 50 Cent already dropped content, putting a spotlight on everything, and that stirred the pot heavy. From that point, the narrative just kept growing. People started connecting dots, making assumptions, and running with it. Some even saying the situation got turned into jokes online before. And now it's coming back serious. It's messy, no doubt about it. But one thing about 50, he's not letting this slide at all. He's making sure he speaks on it, making sure his voice is heard, and making sure Diddy stays in the conversation. He posted right after Usher's comments, basically highlighting that Usher had nothing negative to say while praising Diddy's contributions. That alone got people talking even more. Then 50 flips it and throws his own message into the mix. He's questioning how some people are seen, how they're judged, and whether everything is being told the right way. But at the same time, he's clearly not buying the clean image angle at all. That's where the tension really builds. And when 50 starts speaking direct, you already know it gets intense. He throws out lines suggesting there's more behind the scenes that people don't want to talk about. That's why people say 50 moves different, because when he locks in on a situation, he goes all the way with it. This whole thing just keeps getting louder and louder. I'm a grown man now. I'm off limits. That's how people online are reacting, laughing, but also side-eyeing the whole situation. I'm not even gonna lie. This whole thing looks messy from every angle. But here's the real part. Everybody's experience with Diddy isn't the same, not even close. So of course, Usher is gonna speak in a way that fits his own story and protects his position. We've heard rumors for years, but we haven't seen clear proof of everything people claim. Meanwhile, Young Miami is gonna say what works for her, what keeps things smooth and profitable. The same goes for Justin Bieber and others around that circle. Everybody moves based on what benefits them. That's just how the industry plays out. And let's not forget, Diddy still has serious money and business ties. There are companies people support every day without even knowing he's connected to them. So even with all this noise, the money side is still active, still flowing, still influencing decisions behind the scenes. That's why when things shift, people are gonna have to pick a side. We already see where Usher stands, loud and clear. Others might stay quiet, others might speak later, but the pressure is building. And while there's been a lot of talk and stories going around, not everything has been confirmed publicly, which keeps this whole situation in a gray area. We've never heard Justin Bieber come out and say anything negative, not once. But this right here, this feels like it's gonna turn into a long war. I'm really trying to see how this plays out between 50 Cent and Diddy when Diddy actually steps back outside. Are they about to go back and forth on social media nonstop? Because let's be real, social media is where everything goes down now. Both sides got their own narratives, their own angles, and both are heavy hitters. This ain't no small situation. This is two powerhouses clashing. And when that happens, things can get loud real fast. Now, as for Usher, that's his perspective. That's how he sees it, and nobody can tell that man how to think. Same thing with Justin Bieber. They never came out speaking crazy, so it leaves people stuck trying to figure out what to believe. Me personally, I can't fully run with anything unless someone says it cleared themselves. That's just how I move. At the end of the day, I don't make the news. I break it down for y'all. So get down in the comments and let me know how you feel about all this. Is this really a cleanup move before Diddy comes back? Because now you got Young Miami speaking, you got Usher speaking, and the pressure is rising. Make sure you subscribe to Dripzine, like the video, share it, and drop a comment. Help a small creator grow and hit that hype this video button. Appreciate every single one of y'all for real.
I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen. I mean, this might be a bit controversial, but in the same way, I think many people choose to look past the reality of what our country is, the standards that we now stand on. We can't ignore the reality of the history. But in many ways, I think certain people are prosecuted and maybe not recognized for the greatness, you know.